just break away from leaders. We don't need leaders like Reagan and Carter and Anderson. We need people like, come on in.
Ralph,
It's okay. Nobody's getting hurt. Just come on in.
Ralph,
Hey, come on in.
you better come on in.
Come in, please.
Come on in. It's too late now. Grab your seat over there.
Sit down.
Park it over here so we keep everybody together. I don't intend to hurt anybody, so don't be, it's, it could be me too. It could be my problem. Maybe I've gotten too concerned with it.
Well, the one thing you can't ignore is basically there was a neighborhood that was mostly African American, mostly black, down where I-75 is now. And urban renewal in those days basically would wipe out the slums per se when major projects like that came through, and they did. The I-75 basically tore up a lot of the West End. And that was pretty much the way it was in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Over the Rhine, as we know it now, is nothing like Over the Rhine as it was in the 60s and 70s. Very poor, a lot of drug abuse, a lot of violence, a lot of crime. A lot of people didn't want to go down there. And so it was a very different time. James Hoskins had a view of Over the Rhine from his apartment at 12th and Vine Streets, which is now part of the Gateway Quarter. He could look down and see the poor people, as he said.
I don't know if you've ever been in the Over the Rhine area to see the old people. They have nothing. I watch them. They have nothing. They sit in their bed all day long, and that's all they have to look forward to. Nothing's happening for them. Nobody cares. Nobody does anything for them.
They just hung out in the park all day, and that led to some violence, and that led to some crime, but he could see it from his bay window up there.
Can you see this world from your window?
I can see the world from my bay windows, up and down the street.
Possibly a story could be done from your window of the world
I
you
won't
see.
be there in my windows after this, I'm sure. Maybe you can do it from my windows, but I won't be there.
He was a terrorist before anybody knew what a terrorist was. He had plans to poison the city's water supply with ricin. He had plans to booby-trap cars that were abandoned on the interstates. His girlfriend, Melanie Finley, who was a teacher at an elementary school in Green Hills, of all places, a Catholic elementary school, she didn't want to do it. She wouldn't go along with it, so he shot her 6 times in the chest at close range. Once he did that, he went out walking with his gun still in his hands, just walking. Channel 9 at the time was located at 5th and Central, downtown. We had a crew, Elaine Green and John Earhart. They were out at night doing a story, so they came back to the station, got out of their news car, walked toward the building in the parking lot. Elaine Green they said hi to this guy, they passed in the parking lot. Next thing I know, they heard him say, "Hold it." They turned around and he was taking a paper bag off the end of the gun. He wanted to make a statement on TV. He wanted to go to the camera room. So I buzzed Elaine in, went back and sat down about, I would say 30 or 40 feet away from the entrance to the newsroom. Next thing I know, I look up and here's Elaine and John Earhart coming through the door with James Hoskins holding a gun at their back. Well, I got closer to him and he was built, in my opinion, like a linebacker. Very stocky, had on a red and black check wool coat, hunting coat, if you will, had a hat on. Pretty fit guy, and he had the gun, and so I'm thinking, this is not a good idea to try to do anything, so we started talking with him. And they taped a 13-and-a-half-minute interview with Hoskins. That's when he confessed to murdering his girlfriend. Can we help you? How can we help you? You can't help me, I'm a dead man. After the interview was done, or as it was wrapping up, Hoskins put his gun right here. Maybe I should just end it right now, he said. Basically, he wasn't going to do it. He wanted to shoot it out with police. He held up the gun, shaking it, said,
"They've got their magnums. They want to hurt the poor people in the street. I've got my magnums. I'm ready. I'm loaded.
And he let us go. It got to the point where he realized that there was no way out.
I know that I'm slipping away.
Can't we help you before you slip any? You don't want to slip completely
I'm
away.
gone. I'm gone. All they'll do,
I don't know.
there is no help for me. Look, I murdered my girlfriend. God damn, man, I killed her. I'm trying to hold it together. I killed her.
So he took his own life about 9:30 in the morning, shot himself behind the right ear in the newsroom. Some people might say that might have been the best way to go. Some people say, well, you took the cowardly way out. I don't know. I wasn't in that newsroom when he decided to end it all. I don't know. We were outside waiting for him to give himself up or whatever, and he chose that path. Shadoukati did a thing that was quite remarkable. We had a U-shaped desk, kind of like a newspaper copy desk. Shadoukati was an old newspaper reporter, but he stood in the middle of this desk and he said something along the lines of, I've stood in this spot many, many times, but never have I seen a scene that's playing out before us right now. Right now, over there, police are removing the body of James Hoskins from the newsroom. He took himself after holding 9 of our employees hostage. The 7 o'clock news that night focused on everything Hoskins. Live interviews. I was interviewed live on the air. Elaine Green was interviewed live on the air. Some of the other people were interviewed live, what it was like to be in that situation. And after the 6 o'clock news, I went in one of the rooms and kind of put my head down and kind of quietly sobbed. It wasn't crying all the way, but just releasing some energy. And that's how they ended the newscast. It didn't bother me a bit. It was real, it was true, and that was it. I didn't think it was that big a deal. I don't know if that's putting into a compartment and being unrealistic or being, psychotic or something. I don't know if there's a term for it, but I just moved on. I was able to. I suspect someday, whenever it is that I pass away, the obituary is going to have that as part of the first couple of paragraphs, whether I like it or not. It's part of the fabric of life. It's part of what happened. So it's something it's out there. It's part of my life, part of my life history. Everybody wants to know about it when they find out, and I'm happy to accommodate. So it changed my life in that regard. It's something I can talk about or need to talk about quite often. But it doesn't bother me. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I did compartmentalize it. So what? It's not a matter of not wanting to talk about it. It's a matter of I don't see the need to unless somebody asks. I'm not, look at me, I was a hostage one time. I don't look at it that way. I don't live in the past though. Life's too short. What's ahead? What's the next step? What's the next challenge? At some point there won't be any next challenges. I won't be physically able to do kind of things. I know that. We all know that. But you don't dwell on it. Get up in the morning, look outside and smile, saying, my dad always said every morning, this is the day the Lord hath made, let us rejoice and be glad in it. Growing up Episcopalian, every service started with that admonition.